Hello, welcome to everybody. Today we shall discuss another social security legislation, namely Employees State Insurance Act of 1948. It is also one of the biggest social security you can consider in the world itself, even though it covers only 6 to 7 crores of Indian organized workforce. The entire process, procedure, registration, benefits under the ESI has been transformed into the online procedures. From March 2011 onwards, the entire, even to take a registration of the ESI, you don't have to submit any physical forms. You will have to submit only the Aadhaar or the establishment and certain other details, namely date of the set of the establishment, number of employees, other connected registration, namely GST number if any, a registration of the shops and commercial establishment, etc., to support the registration process. I'll say this is another steps taken by the government of ease of doing the business. Because whenever an employer submit an application form, it is taken for granted the application is correct and the online allotment of the code number under the ESI Act is furnished to the employer, something really fantastic. Earlier, to get a ESI registration under the ESI corporation, what you'll have to do is you'll have to meet the inspector and you'll have to convince the inspector that I have not engaged 10 or more employees on an earlier date, so that my coverage should not be preponed. That is the greatest headache for a new establishment going to be covered. So that is again the domination of the Inspector Raj, where all the employers will have to fully depend upon the mercy of the ESI inspector to get even an allotment of the ESI code number. Suppose I want to cover an establishment and start paying the contribution. The response from the side of the authority is you will not be allowed to take a registration directly. On the other side, the corporation will ask, your balance sheet from the date of the beginning, the date of the setup, the yearly balance sheet, etc., to find out, to probe into that you have employed more employees for the coverage on an earlier date. So basically, it is a distrust by the bureaucrat, by the corporation to the employer. See, when an employer comes before the corporation for registration and complaints, the employer is discouraged by the authorities by asking all difficult questions, namely the engagement, etc., the date of the setup, etc. So that has gone a bye-bye, and now all employers can register the ESI under the ESI portal by submitting all the online documents, and your allotment of the code number will be provided within 24 hours. So the ease of doing the business initiated by the government of India is really, under the ESI corporation, is really encouraging. It is also a step forward of the digital process that has been initiated by the government of India, the ESI corporation. When I talk, so this procedure has been slowly the shift from a physical ESI procedure to a digital was initiated started off with May 2011 onwards. Now, I think more than 9 years have passed, and so there have been so much of difficulties when a physical to digital transformation. The employers were really suffering a lot because the accustomed to the software systems. The employees have been doing it, find it difficult. The benefit of them to avail the benefits have been difficult. The entire process has been difficult. There have been training by the ESI corporation, and as in the case of the EPF organization also, there have been steady difficulties, and almost every month the ESI corporation portal website is modified, customized, so that the employer and employee feel at ease to do the process. From, I think all of them are aware, from 1/1/2017, the ESI has the rate of the ESI corporation for the employer and employee has been reduced. Now, from 1/1/2017 onwards, the coverage of employees under the ESI Act, the cap has been raised from 15,000 to 21,000 from 1/1/2017. Unlike in Provident Fund, the cap is 15,000 rupees. Also, the rate of the contribution under the ESI has been reduced, namely, employees' contribution of 4.75 has been reduced to 3.75, and employees' contribution has been reduced to 0.75 from 1.75. So right now, totally the employers are liable to contribute 4% of both employees and employers' contribution, that too on 15th of the succeeding month, in line with the EPF organization's 15th. So 15th has been an uniform date, whereas the cap of 15,000 and 21,000 in ESI, really a disparity. I think that also is going to be solved with the proposed amendments also. Further, those employees who have been drawing less than 176 rupees per day, the employees are not liable to make any contribution under the ESI. Only the employer will have to contribute 3.25 of the employer's contribution, and the employee's contribution of 0.75 will be met by the Government of India to compensate that. The employees need not. So it's a free insurance for those employees who are getting an average salary, getting a salary of 176 per day. So that earlier it was a higher per day amount. Now, as of today, it is less than 176. Drawing employees need not pay any contribution on the side of the employee, and employer only need to contribute. Another change from October 2019 is that you have to necessarily cover an employee within 10 days from the date of the joining of the establishment. Something quite difficult, because generally, employers tend to not to cover the employees within a period of 10 days from the date of the joining. The difficulty is, I can tell you a very simple example. Suppose January an employee is joining, the contribution of the January arises only on February 15th, the contribution payable. But the employee, the 1st of January joining employee has to be registered within 10 days. If you don't register an employee within 10 days under the ESI web portal, you are going to get a show cause notice, an online digital automatic generated show cause notice, wherein you will have to explain why you could not register the employee within a period of 10 days. It follows with a declaration, online declaration in the portal. You will have to fill up the declaration in the portal. The declaration followed by the further details, namely the copy of the appointment letter to be submitted physically to the ESI corporation. So online, it is no more online. When an employee is not registered within 10 days, when you are getting a show cause notice, the employer will have to undergo a procedure where you will have to submit the appointment letter, the attendance register, and the wage register, along with the declaration stating that I could not register the employees on a period of 10 days. And the ESI corporation, on receiving the physical documents, will only convert the date of joining to an earlier date, preponderance date. So that has become a very, very difficult task for all the employers. Because your contribution is payable on the January joining employee on February 15th only. You will ask February 15th only. You can ask a very basic question. After all, I am contributing only on 15th. Why should I register within a period of 10 days? So that 10 days not registering an employee, if you don't submit appropriate documents, physical documents, the result is the employee's date of joining will be deemed as the date of registration will be taken as deemed registration, and the earlier date will not be allotted. So this has become a very, very cumbersome procedure for employers. But the fact remains that all of us will be thinking, that means if you don't cover an employee, say out of the 100 employees, you have covered only 50 employees. The 50 non-enrolled employees, if it is found out by the authorities on a later date, an assessment under Section 45 of the ESI Act can be carried out, and the order under Section 45A will be attached along with your in the portal along with your employer's account, and then you should make the payment on the basis of the 45A order appearing on your employer's portal. But the fact remains that none of the employees are going to get any benefit by paying a preponderant or a non-enrolled employee, and it is only a payment based on an assessment that appears in the web portal. So the procedure of filing monthly details by the online introduction has become very, very easy for the employer, because every month you are giving the employee's name, details, salary, and the contribution after the online procedure. But earlier, before March 2011, manually every month you are calculating the total wages and the total number of employees and the rate of the contribution of employer and employee. You are remitting, but you are not submitting the details of the employees. But right now, as a result, the earlier procedure was after the closure of the 6 monthly contribution period. There are 6 monthly contribution periods starting from March to September and October to February. April to September is one contribution period, and October to March is another contribution period. So the earlier manual procedure, at the end of the contribution period of 6 months, because you are only remitting without identifying the employee's details, number of days worked and salary. So at the end of the close of the contribution period of 6 months, you will have to give the details within a period of 42 days at the end of the contribution period. So that procedure has been done away. Now every month you are verifying the employee's name, their salary, etc., and that procedure has been done away. Now every month you are ensuring the exact number of employees, the name of the employees, their salary, and the contribution, the benefits, all can be apportioned in that way. So after the introduction of the online, another important message I want to tell you is now any insured employee under the ESI corporation can right now, by entering his IP insured number, he can very well go and see whether the employer is remitting ESI contribution every month in time or not, or whether he is deducting from my salary and he is not contributing to the ESI corporation. See, now so earlier the employees have no alternative except ask the employer whether it is making the payment. The employer can always say, yes, I am making contribution. Now the employees can go to the web portal of the employee, and he can verify whether the contribution has been paid, whether the full contribution has been paid, how many days contribution I have been remitted, and not only that, it also supports what are the benefits I am entitled to. namely whether I am entitled for maternity benefit, disablement benefit, dependent benefit, funeral benefit, sickness benefit, or medical benefit. Because of all the benefits, the period of contribution under the ESI differs. So you have to put in a certain number of days contribution for availing certain benefits, except in the case of dependence benefit, that is in the case of death or in the case of disablement benefit, there is no waiting period. The day number one you join, you die means if the death occurs during the course of employment, or if the accident and disability occurs during the course of employment, you are entitled for benefit, namely benefit under the ESI corporation. That is the only benefit, namely dependence benefit in the case of death and disability benefit under the ESI scheme. If both occurs, if the accident occurs during and out of and during the course of the employment. So the frame of the ESI corporation has been so enlarged in the sense the employees are finding it very easy to verify whether the employer makes a payment and what are the benefits I am entitled to. Earlier, the employees were compelled to approach the HR managers or the employer to find out whether I am entitled for sickness benefit or I am entitled for funeral benefit, etc., etc. All the benefits are right now coming under the employees portal, and he can very well take a printout and read and understand the benefit under the ESI Act. So the digital introduction under the ESI scheme has really helped both employers and employees. I'm talking about not employees alone. It has helped employers also. So before concluding that, let me once again clarify. ESI Act applies to every establishment where 10 or more employees are employed on any day during the preceding 12 months. It doesn't mean you should have 10 employees drawing less than 21,000 rupees coverage. Irrespective of the number of salary. Earlier it was there should have been 10 or more. Earlier it was 20 or more coverable employees. Now, irrespective of a manufacturing activity or non-manufacturing activity, shops and commercial establishment, a flat 10 or more employees engagement is sufficient, and irrespective of the salary, all those 10 employees are taken into account for the purpose of ESI coverage. So let me conclude the session by again emphasizing that the digital process introduced by the ESI corporation has smoothened the procedure for employees as well as employees. Thank you very much.